Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. On September 21st, the World Economic Forum is announcing the continued growth of the coalition of companies supporting the Stakeholder Capitalism Metrics Initiative, an initiative that promotes alignment among existing environmental, social, and governance frameworks to create a set of metrics that can be compared between companies, regardless of their industry or region. Joining me to discuss is Chantal Wessels, Vice President and Head of Global Reporting and Corporate ESG at Nasdaq, who has been leading the charge on ESG-related metrics since the beginning of the year. Chantal, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Great. Thanks for having me, Jill.
What are the stakeholder capitalism metrics, and what is the World Economic Forum aiming to achieve?
Sure. So the stakeholder capitalism metrics is really 21 core metrics divided into 4 pillars. The principles of governance, planet, people, and prosperity. And those pillars align with the UN's 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So it's essentially those core metrics taken from existing ESG standards and frameworks. They are largely industry agnostic and is focused on the metrics that will provide additional insight into every company's ESG practices.
Why did Nasdaq sign on to the commitment?
Sure. The commitment ultimately states that we support the convergence, simplification, and standardization for material ESG considerations at a global level. It is important to us to have comparable data sets, which then provides additional transparency into a company's ESG practices and strategies.
Chantal, how is ESG core to Nasdaq's corporate strategy?
Sure. I mean, ESG has really become a key consideration in everything that we do, from how we engage with our suppliers, how we help position our customers to be successful, how we create a sustainable environment for our employees, and also how we factor it into our governance and risk practices. So it's pretty much all around us.
As this is the first year you are reporting on the metrics, what have you done to ensure you are successful, and what advice would you give to other companies marching down this path?
Sure. So, this year, our ambition was really to create more transparency and provide more data sets and insight into our current ESG practices. We largely reported on the majority of the metrics already as part of our sustainability report earlier this year and our TCFD report. So we've already built in some of these metrics into our normal processes and reporting. So it was an easy transition for us to kind of just agree to implement these 21 core metrics as well. Some advice I can give to other companies working through this process now is to try and build it into your normal processes and your standardized processes. So it kind of becomes part of what you are doing rather than, having to submit an additional report, etc., or having to reinvent the wheel to provide additional metrics.
How is Nasdaq empowering its customers to implement and improve their ESG strategy?
Sure. So, we're pretty much on the same journey as most of our customers today. So we have somewhat of an understanding around what the challenges are, what works and what doesn't. This also puts us in an ideal position to use ourselves as a use case and enable us to provide those products and services that will help our customers be successful, and also ease the burden of reporting through the things that we provide, such as our advisory services and also the technology. So that organizations can more closely focus on executing various strategies rather than having to spend a lot of time focusing on it, on their reporting. We also understand the importance of the visibility and access to data, so investors and asset managers can make more informed decisions.
All right, Chantal, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks so much, Jill.